Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Wood. I'm going to read you a story today entitled Amy Carmichael, Rescuing the Children. Starts. More than 100 years ago, Amy Carmichael, a little Irish girl, was having tea and cake with her mother. As she looked up, she noticed a hungry little girl staring at her plate of food. That made her very sad. She left the tea room, but could not get the little girl out of her mind. She was so concerned that she scribbled out a promise. When I am all grown up, I know what I will do. I'll build a safe and loving place for little girls like you. When Amy grew a little older, she would invite children to her home. She would tell them Bible stories about Jesus and teach them songs. They would clap and sing and laugh together. Amy knew how to make things fun. Amy was always interested in helping people, especially the poor. She began taking food to them and clothing. She also invited the young women called Shawlies into her church, where they could pray and study the Bible together. Unfortunately, some of the people in her church were very upset about it. They told Amy, "Those Shawlies are dirty. They're bringing dirt and lice into our church, and we don't like it." But Amy knew that God wanted her to help the Shawlies, so she just found another building. She was able with her friends to feed the Shawlies lunch, and they started a singing group, a band, a Bible study, prayer, of course, and a sewing club. But big changes were coming for Amy. God showed her that she was to go to India to teach the people there how much He loved them. Unfortunately, the people in India were Hindus and worshipped false gods and idols. They did not like Amy, and they didn't want to hear about Jesus or how He had died for their sins. One day, a young girl named Arulai heard Amy sharing how much Jesus loved her and how He died for her sins. She was so touched in her heart that she prayed, and Jesus became her Savior. When her family found this out, though, they were so angry they punished her and locked her in the house. She was not able to see Amy any longer. However, after 8 long months, Arulai was able to escape. She ran straight to Amy's house. Sadly, she was so sick she could barely speak or move. Her father arrived and demanded, "I am here for my daughter." He found her in Amy's bed and could see she was much too sick to move. He could also see that Amy loved his daughter. She so tenderly cared for Arulai. Because of this, when Arulai was well, her father allowed her to stay and live with Amy. What rejoicing! Oh, sorry. Now, Prina was a little poor Hindu girl in India. When she was only 5, her father died, and her mother didn't have enough food to feed all the children, so her mother took Prina to the temple and gave her to the temple priests. There were many other little girls in the temple, and they were all prisoners there. The doors were kept locked. They were never allowed to go outside. The girls were watched constantly, so they would not escape. Prina would often cry, but nobody cared. Prina became desperate to be free, but how could she get away? Then one day, Prina heard some people talking about a white woman who traveled around telling others about God and his love, and about Jesus. It seems that Amy was always helping people, especially children. Prina was thrilled. Now she had a plan. She was going to find Amy and live with her forever. That night, she couldn't sleep. Once everyone was asleep, she slipped out of bed and tiptoed to the door that was always locked. When she touched the door handle, the door swung open. So she slipped through the door and took off running. As Prina was frantically dashing about, a brave Christian woman saw her and spoke to her. Then she risked her life to take Prina to Amy's house. Now Prina saw Amy right away, and she climbed up into her lap. Amy loved her and cared for her as if she was her very own little girl. Amy and her helpers were able to rescue many other temple children as well. Teaching the girls about her loving God and about Jesus, her Savior, was very important to Amy. She also taught them how to sing and play lots of games. She knew how to make things fun. God provided money for the girls day by day and food. Eventually, they were able to build some lovely buildings. She called her place Donover Fellowship, and it is still there today. Well, boys and girls, God is still looking for people who are willing to go, like Amy did, to help others. This is the end of our story. Thanks for listening. Bye.